Hello everyone. Guess what? It's now official. Uriel and Rhiannon are going to be moving back to Cochrane. When? In the middle of January to be exact. They are so extremely excited to be finally going home. Nature, wildlife, panoramic mountains, rivers, and provincial parks. Walking trails, southern hospitality, real friends, and acquaintances. All those wonderful things, and more, await them in this beautiful valley, nestled in the foothills of the Canadian Rocky Mountains. It's time to go home. Uriel and Rhiannon have saved up to get movers. The last time they moved on their own, Uriel swelled up like a balloon, and almost ended up in hospital from congestive heart failure. He could have had a heart attack. Now at 53, and he will be 54 next spring, Uriel is no longer healthy enough to do it himself anymore. He also has arthritis and fibromyalgia. Rhiannon isn't healthy either, with even more issues going on than Uriel. So they are hiring Paramount movers. The move should cost about $1,000 Canadian. Currently, Rhiannon and Uriel live in southeast Calgary, in a neighborhood called Acadia. They live in Bonaventure Apartments. It has large kitchens. Decent-sized master bedroom. Decent-sized second room. A large living room. A good-sized dining room. Laundry on every floor. Garbage chutes on every floor. Lots of grassy areas in summer. Even places to sit outside. On a clear day you can see the mountains. So why move away then, if it's a good-sized apartment? At the end of their lease, the rent is going up by a lot. The rent will become $1,475. Then there is a monthly fee per cat that they have, and they have 2 cats. So the combined rent per month would become $1,525 per month. There is no way that they can afford that, being that they both live on disability incomes. So, they have no choice but to move. If they stayed in Calgary, it would make them homeless over time. The city has become much too expensive to live in. Insurance, food, transit, everything, has gone up and up in price. It's absolutely ridiculous. It has been an absolutely terrifying year for Uriel and Rhiannon. They can't wait to get the hell out of Calgary. In the past year, Calgary has had record numbers in drive-by shootings, drugs, homicides, stabbings, muggings, and very scary people out in public on trains, buses, or just out walking about. On May 24th, there was a shooting just only 2 blocks away from where they now live. There was a second shooting downtown on the same day. Numerous kids around the city now bring guns to school with them. In the year 2022, Calgary gun violence had increased more than 75% by summer. Now in the fall, it is well over 100%. There was a woman killed after a road rage shooting, who didn't even have anything to do with the incident. She was just wrong place at the wrong time. Now her 5 children no longer have a mother. Chinook Mall, which is Calgary's largest mall, is no longer a safe area of the city to go to. It has had guns in the food courts. It has homeless people stealing food right out of the hands of people eating. People have been raped in bathrooms. A female security guard was raped in the parkade. All sorts of craziness. There have been several people attacked at train stations, and sometimes even pushed in front of trains. Many people have even been attacked while on busy trains during daylight hours. Drug violence and attacks on public kept most people away from the C train for most of the year. There is on average about 3 people dying of overdoses per trip that you see if traveling on the trains from one end of the city to the other. Many drug users go into uncontrollable rage, and attack anyone nearby. Many drug stores have been robbed this year, with gun violence on the rise. There have been many homicides this year, with random people found dead in their homes. A lot of teenagers this year were charged with trying to hire people to kill others they did not like. As you can see, Calgary might look at first like a good place to live. But once you've really been there a while, you can see it is much far more dangerous than they claim. Uriel and Rhiannon believe that the city lies about crime statistics. If you don't drive, and forced to walk or take transit, you then begin to see just how insane this big city can truly be. So, in the middle of January 2023, Uriel and Rhiannon will be leaving Calgary. They will be happy to be getting the hell out of this massive big city. It's time to leave here, and go home. Now it's time to drive from Calgary to Cochrane. In 3 minutes. Well, not really. This video is sped up many times. In real life it would take you more than 45 minutes to get there, and even longer if it is during rush hour traffic. So enjoy this turbo speed drive leaving the big city, and heading out to the valley. Nature, wildlife, and mountains. It is such a better place for them to live. I'll speak to you more when we get there. Once they have moved to Cochrane, in the middle of January 2023, Rhiannon and Uriel will be living in the old east end of the town, of what is now 34,500 people. It is an area so quiet at night, all you can hear is your own heartbeat, and the odd CP rail train, heading across Canada to the west coast. It is really, that peaceful, there. So let's zoom into the east end of the city, to see where they will be living, shall we? Uriel and Rhiannon will be living in a corner suite. It will be on the 3rd floor, facing the north big hill. The very big hill, we went down, when we came into the valley from Calgary. Here is a picture of the apartment facing the north big hill we were talking about. Now facing southwest. Now facing east. Here is a 3D view of where the apartment is located in town. Now facing west. Facing north in the parking lot. And facing south on the street in front of the apartments. The flashing yellow square is where they will be located in the town of Cochrane. It is a prime location, because they will be in walking distance to pretty much everything. The whole central area of town takes less than half an hour to walk from one end to the other. It makes their lives much easier, since neither of them drive a car, or even has a license. They can easily access everything. Rhiannon and Uriel will be moving into the building you see on the left. They will be moving into a 2-bedroom apartment on the top 3rd floor. It will be in the back right corner of this building. Here is a closer look at the front of this building. This picture is the entrance. Uriel's office and studio will be the top right window seen here. This is the back of the building. They will be on the 3rd floor facing north. Here is a corner shot of the building, looking from the courtyard between the two buildings. You can see Uriel's office and studio window on the left. The small right window is Rhiannon's office, and the far right large window is the living room. Their view will be something like this, looking towards the Highway 1A on the big hill, that heads back to Calgary. The kitchens are small, but functional, with deep cupboards, a stove, a fridge, and a small half-sized sink in the corner. Uriel and Rhiannon will move the fridge over to the right slightly towards and slightly into the living room, and replace its spot next to the cupboards, with a portable dishwasher that hooks up to the sink taps. The living room is cozy, not too big, or not too small. They use it as both the living room, and as the room they sleep in, with hopefully a sofa bed of some kind in the future. On the far right corner, their suite will have a door that goes into Rhiannon's office. There are 2 bedrooms. One like the one you see here, which is the master bedroom, and will be Uriel's office and studio. There is as well as a second room that is smaller and more narrow, at the end of the living room, that will be Rhiannon's office for her computer and arts and crafts that she makes. There is a 3-piece bathroom, that also has a linen storage closet in it. Here is the floor plan of this cozy apartment. Yes, it is very small at only 590 square feet for a 2-bedroom, but it is $425 less than living in Calgary, saving them both hundreds of dollars, and living more on a balanced budget per month. It is located in the heart of Cochrane, and you get all the nature, mountains, safety, hospitality, and feel of a small old west town at your doorstep. It makes it very worth it. If you are with the person you love in a smaller area, then I guess it just means you'll have a closer relationship with one another. There is nothing wrong with that. You come in the door, and there is a coat closet to your right. To your left is a storage room in the suite itself. The living room and kitchen are all one room, but functional. At the far end corner is Rhee's office with a window facing north towards the big hill. The master bedroom is near the entrance with a window facing east into the courtyard between the 2 buildings. To the right of the entrance closet is the bathroom, which also has a linen closet. It may be small, but it works if you buy the right furniture for it. Being that Rhiannon and Uriel don't really have much for furniture right now, they can slowly add things in the future to make this place their own. They are already making plans for their future here. The rent for this cozy apartment in Cochrane, Alberta, is only $1,050 per month. That is much better than the $1,475 for the place in Calgary. When you add in the fee for their 2 cats per month, it only brings their total rent per month to $1,100 per month. With today's high prices for rents in Alberta, that's pretty darn good rent. Between the 2 buildings, is a large grassy courtyard. A lot of great things happen there. There is a barbecue there that is for the use of all the tenants of both buildings. People use it all year round, but mostly in the summer. The tenants of both buildings often plan different events and dinners such as potlucks, where everyone is invited, whether they can contribute something or not. It's usually a great feast, where everyone brings their best. All year round, on the warm days, you can see tenants outside socializing with one another. Playing with their cats or dogs, sitting in folding chairs and at wooden tables, and most feel a great sense of belonging to a community within itself at these apartments. There is even a garden there, where any of the tenants can contribute, and when everything grows, there are lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and more for everyone. It's a small community within itself, where most tenants know each other on a first-name basis, and most are friends with one another, looking out for one another, and there for each other in their times of need. It really makes you feel like you're home. Like you belong there. Even in the town of Cochrane itself, sure you have a few jerks and self-privileged people, but the majority of people there are the type that would give you the shirts off their backs. They're for one another, they raise their kids right and respectful, and supporting their community. Even when Rhiannon and Uriel go out shopping to local shops and stores, they are often greeted by the owners with a hug, "We missed you," and asked how our family is doing. Most people in the town of Cochrane genuinely care. In fact, there is so much more for Rhiannon and Uriel in Cochrane. While they were in Calgary, if they ever needed help for anything, like food or other resources, they were always refused and turned away. It's so easy in Calgary to be okay one minute, and be a homeless person the next. Life is so unpredictable there if you have a low income. You almost have to be rich to make it there. It is Canada's 3rd most expensive city after all. In Cochrane though, it is a self-sustaining town in every way and form of the word. A community that continually helps and improves itself. If Uriel and Rhiannon ever need help, there is a Helping Hands program that gets you in touch with the right people. The food bank there not only helps people of low income like the 2 of them on disability, but even gives them heck if they don't go. Quite the opposite from Calgary. Being that they are low income, they encourage them to at least go a few times a year. At Christmas, they even provide them with dinner and a few gifts for both them and their pets. Around the town of Cochrane, there are free food sheds, where anyone can go, no questions asked, and take or leave food items like milk, cheese, eggs, bread, fruit, canned goods, vegetables, and frozen meats. People from the community who can afford to volunteer, look after them and restock them often. Usually a couple times a week. Each shed has a fridge, a freezer, and a pantry. And again, it's completely free to anyone, no questions asked. You can come and go as you please. There is a family and community services building downtown that takes names and emails of low-income people in the community. They occasionally bring meals, furniture that is donated, help with moves, donate clothing and other resources, get people in touch with help they need, provide rides for people on medical trips, and even have government housing in the town as well. Cochrane is big about community, and has all kinds of events year-round to bring the town together. Things like parades for holidays, potty outhouse racers for laughs and donations to charities, farmers markets in the streets of downtown, farmers markets in parks, a yearly carnival with events and rides, Christmas light-up events with free food and drinks, as well as entertainment, rodeos that happen right in the center of town in the summers, New Year's fireworks at a park, as well as a lot of car shows downtown. Cochrane is a community where there is almost something happening every month of the year. Once they move, they will live only about 2 to 3 blocks from downtown, depending on where you are going. As you can see, it is not very far at all, is it? Cochrane takes pride in keeping First Street looking like the Old West. In fact, a lot of TV shows and movies have been filmed here. Here is an aerial view of downtown. During summer months it is a big tourist attraction. Especially McKay's ice cream shop. They serve some of the best ice cream in the world, with many flavors. So many in fact, it might be hard for you to decide on just one. Or two. Or more. They even have an old-fashioned candy store with candy you probably haven't seen in many years. But they do have it there. They also have imported candy as well. Uriel says if you let Rhiannon in there, you will never see her again. Their candy is that good. This is the Texas Gate, which is a restaurant in the front, and a bar in the back. It is also a very, very old hotel known as the Rocky View Hotel. Here is a view of it from outside in the front. During summer months, Uriel likes to go here and play the old piano on the front porch. Here is a small clip of him playing there. On a clear day, Uriel and Rhiannon can go for about a 15-minute walk up the valley hill from their apartment. There is a few baseball diamonds there in a park, and as well a few benches. Better bring a jacket though, even in summer, because at that altitude, it gets very very windy. So why go there then? The beautiful panoramic view of the Canadian Rocky Mountains. The reason this is one of their favorite spots, is the view. Mountains all over to your left. Mountains all over to your right. And mountains everywhere and in between. It is a full panoramic view that this picture gives no justice to. Being only a 15-minute walk from their apartment marked here in the photo, which is just down the hill and over a few blocks west, it is no wonder they love Cochrane so much. They are close to so much beauty, and still have all the services of a town that they need. In fact, the mountains are so close to Cochrane, that on most streets you can see them either to the south, or to the west, with the naked eye without any effort. You can even see just the peaks of mountains, over the tops of buildings, right from the grassy courtyard between their 2 apartment buildings. The mountains are just everywhere. What better place to snuggle up and watch a beautiful, picture-perfect sunset with a loved one? The location where they live is perfect. Everything they need is close by and in walking distance. To go shopping, all they have to do is walk 2 blocks south across the CP rail train tracks. On the other side is 4 large shopping areas, as well as medical buildings. Center Street in the summer is absolutely beautiful. The city covers it in tall country grass, flowers of many types and colors, as well as pear trees. When in bloom, it's very pretty. There is medical buildings and an urgent care center during the day. There is talks of eventually making the urgent care 24/7, but nothing is a go or confirmed yet. As said already, there is 4 large shopping areas kind of in a square grid, with major roads dividing them. All the major stores and restaurant chains are there. This is so convenient for Rhiannon and Uriel, that the furthest place from home, in the furthest corner of the shopping areas, is still just under a half-hour walk. The fact that they don't drive, or own a vehicle is not a problem here. They can walk to everything and anything. Most of the large parking lots have a view of the mountains to the west, which just makes your shopping day all the better. Nothing can be more convenient. Rhiannon and Uriel only have to walk 1.5 blocks to go see their family doctor. A new building was recently built on 1st Street, right across from the RCMP station. You can see the new building on the top right of this photo, which is now completed, and recently the doctor has moved in. On the top left of the photo, you can see the building complex that they will be living in. How close is that? That's amazing. Dr. Habib Tundali is a medical doctor with skills in general practice, anesthesia, chronic pain, laser therapy, medical marijuana practice, regenerative medicine, entrepreneur, e-health, facilitating health research, and medical health management. He is one of the best medical doctors they have ever had, and sends them for the right tests and specialists. He has not of yet figured out all of Rhiannon's health issues, but he is very determined to do so. About a half-hour walk from their home towards the southeast, and across the train tracks, is an off-leash dog walk along the river. To do the full loop along the river from one end of the town to the other, takes a few hours, but it's worth it, and makes a great afternoon in summer. Along this walk, you see cliffs that you walk next to as you walk along the Bow River. You see friendly people who talk about the latest gossip of the newest city events, or the weather. You see starling birds, and if you're lucky sometimes eagles or hawks circling the area for fish. You see very high cliff sides and some areas covered in natural evergreen trees and rolling hills all the way out to the mountains. There are also some very large cattle ranches out there as well. If you're in these areas at night, you might see wild deer, coyotes, wolves, bears, or even a wild cat. It's best to not walk these areas in the dark of night. But on beautiful summer days it's nice to go down here, bring a picnic, sit on a bench, enjoy the view, and watch the rapids in the fast-moving water. Meet some new people, make some new friends, and just relax. About a 45-minute walk northwest of their home, is a government-protected provincial park called the Ranch House. It is a historical site. There is hours of walking trails between 2 large foothills. There is, on a clear day, panoramic views of the Canadian Rocky Mountains. There are rock cliffs you can sit on up high, and just enjoy the view. There is the grandfather tree, which is very big, and very old. There are streams and babbling brooks. The mountains here could easily make a postcard. The pointy one is called Devil's Peak. There is a lot of wildlife that comes and goes through this area. For example, here is a moose taking a walk. Humans are not the only ones traveling here. This is a cowboy statue, high up on a cliff with a picnic area. You can enjoy the mountains, and have lunch. There are lots of places to explore. The valley sometimes gets so green, you can't believe your eyes. During late afternoon, the sun makes the hills look bright yellow as if they are made of gold. There are so many trails here to explore. When you think you've done them all, you find more. This is the ranch house, which is used for events. It's also where the politicians of the town do a lot of their business. This is a historical site with a fake ranch, representing the real ones of the past, statues, museums, picnic areas with fire pits, public washrooms, farmers markets, and all sorts of free things for the whole family. These rock cliffs are up a lot higher than you think. I wonder what's over that way? Well, let's go on an adventure and see for ourselves. On a clear day the view from this protected park is just unbelievable. You just have to see it for yourself. And to think that Rhiannon and Uriel can go here anytime they want, in just a 45-minute walk? That makes Cochrane an even more wonderful place to live. The amenities of a town, and the joy of nature, all in one place. What more could a person want? Believe me when I say this. Uriel is so tired of moving over and over again. He's been doing that since he had open heart surgeries back in 2003. Why? Because those surgeries created a massive problem in his life. One, he is of low income, and moves to try to find places he can afford to keep a roof over his head. Then due to inflating prices, he is forced to move. 2. Because there is only one specialist in all of Alberta that can save him with his Marfan syndrome, and the mechanical parts that keep Uriel alive. No matter where he lives in Alberta, he has to constantly travel to Calgary to see this specialist and survive another year. Uriel has lived in Edmonton and had to take overnight buses to Calgary and then back without sleep. The same for Lethbridge for a while, and Medicine Hat for a while. Again, to be able to afford rents and keep a roof overhead, and still afford trips to Calgary to see his one and only specialist. Well, now as of fall of 2022, things have changed. Hooray! Whoopee! Woohoo! Time to celebrate! The station, which opened in fall of 2022, now has several shuttle buses a day that go to and from Cochrane to Calgary for only $20 Canadian. As well, Cochrane now has transit in the town itself as well. In the future, they are even going to be having coach buses that take you out to Banff. Eventually Rhiannon and Uriel will be able to go out there for times to get away in the future. How awesome is that, to be in the middle between a big city to the east, only 45 minutes away, with all your medical needs, and mountainous adventures to the west with nature just a little over an hour away. If you are going to live in Alberta, it's the best place to live. In fact, it is one of Canada's fastest growing cities. One of the reasons Uriel and Rhiannon love Cochrane so much, is because of how safe it is there. You can even walk down a back alley in darkness in the middle of the night and nothing will happen to you. In fact, Cochrane is Alberta's third safest city. But when you add in the valley and the mountains, it is the most desirable. Statistically speaking, it has 25% lower crime rates than anywhere else in Canada. Its violent crimes are 41% lower than anywhere else in Canada. You only have a 1 in 32 chance of being a victim of crime. In all the time Uriel and Rhiannon lived there in the past, they never, ever had anything happen to them. Cochrane is safer than 76% of all the cities in Canada. The Mounties there do a great job, and have been reducing the crime there by about 15% per year. They don't stop until they get their man or woman responsible for any crimes they commit. Now there is only one thing left for Rhiannon and Uriel to do. On January 16, 2023, the movers will be arriving in Calgary. They will be moving into their apartment in Cochrane. It's time to really live once more. It's time to be happier again. It's time to go home. Thank you for watching this video, and Uriel and Rhiannon would much love if you could leave some form of a comment below. Thank you and goodbye.